Now we're going to talk about contingency tables. Contingency tables are useful for classifying the sample observations according to two or more identifiable characteristics. So a contingency table is a cross-tabulation of frequencies into rows and columns. This intersection of each row and column is a cell that contains a frequency. The cross-contingency table example shown here on this slide classifies the responses of 150 adults who were part of a survey on movie-going activity. The responses are tabulated showing gender and number of movies attended last month. We can also use contingency tables in finding probabilities. So for example, the cross-contingency table shown here classified the responses of 200 executives who were surveyed on the question of if you were given an opportunity by another company equal to or slightly better than your current position, would you remain with the company or take the other position? So the responses of the executives to this question were categorized by length of service. Using the contingency table, we can answer the question, what's the probability of randomly selecting an executive who is loyal to the company and who has more than 10 years of service? So let's look at the next slide. We let event A represent if a randomly selected executive will remain with the company. Since there are 120 executives out of the 200 in the survey who would remain with the company, the probability is expressed as 120 out of 200, or 0.60. We then need to go to event B, which is represent a randomly selected executive has more than 10 years of service. So we have the probability of B4, which is the column label name, slash A1, which is the row name, is a conditional probability that an executive will be more than 10 years of service that would remain with the company. So of the 120 executives who would remain, 75 have more than 10 years of service. So it's 75 over 120. Out of the 200 executives, 75 executives have more than 10 years of experience and said they would remain with the company. So using the general rule, the probability of randomly selecting an executive who is loyal to the company and who has more than 10 years of experience is found by 120 divided by 200 times 75 divided by 120, which is equal to 0.375 or 37.5%.